Hi guys, it's Reagan and welcome to the start of an extra special vlog featuring one of my good friends, Monica. But this vlog is extra special for a variety of reasons, but the main one is it's going to be a come book shopping vlog in New York City. This is a video I have been wanting to do for a very long time, for well over a year, but for obvious reasons have not been able to. But I really wanted to make this video before I move in a couple of months. So today I'm bringing you along to 5 of my favorite bookstores in New York. They're all located in a variety of different neighborhoods. I'll show you around. I will definitely be buying some books, so there will be a haul at the end of this as well. Obviously, New York City is huge and there are so many incredible bookstores all around the city. These are just 5 of my personal favorites, but by no means an exhaustive list. But anyway, let's head out. Let's begin the book shopping. Cannot wait to have a fun day full of sunshine, books, and hopefully food as well. But yeah, welcome to my book shopping vlog. We're off. Yay. Starting with stop number 1, we went to McNally Jackson Books, and this is the Seaport location. There are a few different McNally Jackson books around in New York City. I recommend going to any of them. They're all fantastic. They just have a huge selection of fiction, nonfiction, and I personally really enjoy how their bookstores are organized. It's really easy to find whatever it is you're looking for. Plus, they also have quite a bit of fantasy, which is great. Always a good day when you locate the science fiction fantasy section. This is a rather large selection. So cozy in this bookstore. I also just love their selection in general. Successful stop 1. Stop number 2 is Bluestockings, which is located in the Lower East Side. This is actually a cooperative bookstore, and they have a huge range of genres here as well, but they actually focus on curating intersectional feminist stories, which I think is really cool. Not to mention, I just really like that this is a community space, and you can actually become a member. Monica found a cute and cozy graphic novel and she's very jazzed about it.
I'm very excited.
Or manga. This place is great though. They have, I think, zines and just a huge selection of feminist books. We love it. Monica's thriving with her fancy toast. Look at that, that's
Black
thick.
Sesame.
Yeah, black sesame and cream cheese. That's my maple latte. She's thick. She looks good. Second bookstore shopping complete. We're on our way to our 3rd location, our final location in Manhattan. Then we're back to Brooklyn. It's a true classic, you'll see in a minute. Still enjoying this nice weather. So there you go. Here we are, Books of Wonder. So cute. This is where so many signings in New York happen. It's a great children's bookstore. Let's hop in. That's right, stop number 3 is Books of Wonder, and this is the Flatiron location. Books of Wonder is such a lovely bookstore. They actually focus and only sell children's literature, from children's stories all the way up to YA. It's truly an expansive selection, and you can always find new as well as just older popular releases, and it's such a fun place to browse as well. Look at all those Chain of Gold copies. Just a wall of YA. Wild. I'm having a hard time not buying everything, but I've controlled myself to 2 books. So we're gonna check out while I still have self-control. Monica making herself at home. My book bags are getting a little out of control, but we've gotten 3 bookstores down onto the 4th one of the day. Hello friends, it's a sunny day. I'm in a new outfit because you might not believe me, but by the time we got back to Brooklyn, the bookstores was closed. So it's day 2 of this book shopping vlog, joined with a new person, Clay's joining us today. And of course Monica. We're heading to 2 bookstores in Brooklyn that are my fave that I've already mentioned. So let's go. And we have arrived. The iconic Books Are Magic mural. Let's pop inside. Stop number 4 is Books Are Magic, which is located in the Brooklyn neighborhood of Cobble Hill. This honestly is just a lovely neighborhood bookstore, a really beautiful bookstore from the murals outside and the store inside. It also has a wonderfully curated selection of books from both fiction to children's stories, and it actually has a beautiful little children's section in the back. It's just one of my favorite spaces to hang out and shop around, and I would definitely recommend checking it out. We did some damage. Clay got a book too. And then the very last bookstore I'm going to feature and visit today is the store within the Center for Fiction, which the whole mission of this organization is to encourage people both to read as well as write. And you can actually become a member here if you're a writer. This bookstore is absolutely stunning, which you can see from the incredible floor to ceiling shelves, as well as they just have an incredible selection of books, both new releases as well as rare to find translated works as well. In love with this cover of American Gods. And I did not know this was already out. Dangerous. Just like that, 5 out of 5 bookstores have now been shopped at. Hi friends, and welcome back to my apartment. Let's go ahead and dive into the haul portion of this video because I have some books to show off. So let's go ahead and dive in. So starting with the first bookstore I stopped at, which was McNally Jackson. I picked up 2 books from that location. And the first book I picked up from McNally Jackson is Crying in Hmart. This was definitely a bit of an impulse buy. This book definitely has a lot of buzz around it. I know so many people are reading and absolutely falling in love with this story. I was definitely kind of pushed over the edge of buying it because I noticed this is also a signed copy. In general, I have been trying to read more memoirs as well, though I feel like this is going to be a rather emotional one. Monica told me she read the first chapter and cried on the bus, so I do feel like I need to mentally prepare myself for that a bit. Michelle Zauner is actually like a rock star, and this is a memoir kind of focusing on family, food, and grief. It essentially recounts the last few months of Michelle's mother's life and her decision to move back to her hometown to take care of her. This is said to be incredibly emotional for very obvious reasons, but also searingly candid, as well as a coming of age story as we're following Michelle in her mid to late 20s trying to figure out her life. I'm personally really looking forward to diving into this, but I do feel like I need to be in the right headspace before doing so, again due to its emotional weight. But I'm really glad I picked this up, and I hopefully will read this soon. Next book I grabbed was A Declaration of the Rights of Magicians by H.G. Perry. This is said to be kind of a historical mixed with fantasy, and it's also said to be fans of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, which I feel like if you know my channel, you know I didn't particularly love that book, but the components that make up that story are ones that really call out to me. So I still decided to pick this book up anyway. But this is said to be a genre-defying story of magic, war, and the struggle for freedom. It's set during the Age of Enlightenment and follows different philosophers and magicians as they're essentially trying to spur on different political and philosophical movements, but everything is also kind of wrapped in magic. Again, this just seems like a reimagining of a historical moment in time, but sort of injecting magic and fantasy into that. I really love history. I was a history major, so I kind of really like that this is pretty deeply inspired by historical moments. And it's also said to kind of put a more human face on these sort of titans of the past, which really intrigues me as well. I don't know, I hope this kind of combines really well researched historical narratives and kind of combining a dark magical academia component as well. It just seems really interesting. It called out to me. I saw it in the bookstore and I picked it up. Next bookstore I visited was Bluestockings, and I picked up one book there, but it was one of my most anticipated releases of the summer, so I'm thrilled to have it in my hand. And that is a Master of Djinn by P. Djeli Clark. And this is a historical fantasy steampunk novel set in Cairo at the turn of the century. All of those elements really call out to me. This was also blurbed by S.A. Chakraborty, which wrote another Cairo set fantasy story that I read and loved so much. And in this story, we follow our main character, who is the youngest member of the Ministry of Alchemy, Enchantments, and Supernatural Entities. But while she's the youngest member there, she is by no means a rookie, and she actually saved the world last summer before the start of this book. However, at the beginning of the story, members of this reclusive alchemic brotherhood begin to disappear, and she is essentially put on the case to try to solve it. She, her girlfriend, and her other colleagues begin to dive deeper into this mystery. So many components of the story call out to me. I love the steampunk nature, I love the setting, and I also like that it kind of has a political thriller element wrapped up in a fantasy story. Again, this is one of my most anticipated releases of the year. I've been waiting for this guy to come out, so obviously when I saw it in the bookstore, I bought it right away. It was on my list. It was a must buy. And the last bookstore I went to in Manhattan was Books of Wonder, and I picked up 2 books there. The first one is The Ones We're Meant to Find by Joan He. And let's just take a moment to appreciate this cover because it's absolutely one of the most stunning things I have ever seen. This is another new release and one that I've also been highly anticipating. I've also just heard so many incredible early reviews about this particular story, but this is a YA kind of futuristic sci-fi tale following 2 sisters that you shift perspectives from. The first sister is named C, and she essentially has woken up on a deserted island with no memories of anything about her life outside of her sister, and she just has this strong sense of trying to escape to reunite with her. And she's on this deserted island as well with an android that she built, and in general she's just trying to fight to remember her past and also figure out how to escape. And the other perspective we follow is Casey, and she is a STEM genius, and she lives on an eco city in the sky. In this world there's kind of like a climate catastrophe, so humanity and society have evolved in a way to try to continue to live on this planet despite some of the things that have occurred. And due to this, there are now floating cities, which is where one of our main characters live, and she is also trying to locate her sister. This is said to be beautiful in terms of its writing style, really twisty, as well as the narrative itself being told in a disjointed way, creating an intense sort of thriller atmosphere. Both sisters are trying to figure out what's going on as well as locate each other. I was really drawn in by the futuristic setting as well as the sister relationship, and also the cover, am I allowed to say that? But yeah, I grabbed this right away when I saw it. The second book I picked up I didn't even know was out, and that is The Way Back by Gabrielle Savitt. And this is the same author who wrote Anna and the Swallow Man, which I read a few years ago and really enjoyed. It had this beautiful dreamlike writing style to it, and honestly right away when I read the synopsis of the story I felt like this could possibly be a new favorite, and I picked it up right away. I was like, I need to buy this, bring it home, and have it on my shelf right now. This is set in a small riverside town called Tubec, which is located in Eastern Europe. And in this town, demons are everywhere. They live in the trees, they live in the surrounding areas, and in general, they're kind of part of everyday life. These demons even have their own land called the Far Country, and this is ruled by demonic lords and ladies. And one day, the Angel of Death strolls through this small town, starting the chain of events that sets our 2 main characters off on a perilous adventure through the Far Country. Again, this just sounds whimsical and magical and dark, kind of combining folklore-based fantasy and hopefully just incredible writing that'll sweep me away. I love dark fairy tale centered stories, middle grade, YA, adults, any genre, I'm there, I want to read it. So again, right away when I read the synopsis, I felt like this could possibly be a new fave for me. I loved everything about it. Alrighty, moving on to our Brooklyn bookstores. We have one book which I picked up from Books Are Magic. The book I picked up there is Interior Chinatown by Charles Yu, which is said to be a groundbreaking and bold novel that solders together wit and melancholic whimsy to produce a moving exploration of race and assimilation. This follows our main character, Willis, who doesn't really perceive himself as the main character. He feels pushed to the side, relegated as a background character, and oftentimes even as a prop. But Every day he leaves his small apartment to work in the Golden Palace, which is the location of kind of a never-ending cop show that's constantly being filmed there. He dreams of being in the spotlight, of being the kung fu character that everyone respects, and somehow at the beginning of the story that actually happens. After stumbling into the spotlight, Willis discovers a world wider than he has ever known before, and also begins to discover the secret history of Chinatown, as well as the lost legacy of his own family. This is said to be both incredibly inventive while also being deeply personal. The synopsis itself really called out to me. Particularly, I think it's interesting how it combines elements of Hollywood and movie and show making as well. But yeah, I saw this and I knew I wanted to buy it right away. And then the very last book I picked up on my book shopping day was from Center for Fiction, and it is a Desolation called Peace by Arcady Martin. I recently read a memory called Empire and absolutely fell in love with the book. So when I saw that the sequel was already out and ready for me to purchase, I could not say no. I immediately grabbed it and checked out, basically. But if you're not familiar, A Memory Called Empire is the first book to a sci-fi opera series. It won the Hugo Award, and again, I personally loved it. In this story, you're following our main character, Mahit, and she is an ambassador. She's essentially traveling from the small space station that she grew up on to a very large central planet called the Empire. The Empire is a colonizer. They own a lot of space around them. Heat's small station is really determined to stay independent, hence why her ambassador position is very, very important. However, once Mahit arrives, she quickly realizes that the political situation is very, very different than she was anticipating. Specifically, the previous ambassador and the person she's supposed to be taking over work from is dead, and no one will tell her if it was murder or not. So now Mahit, our main character, is thrown headfirst into a political conspiracy. She's trying to solve a murder of her predecessor while also staying alive herself. This is a political thriller to the T. It escalates in the most dramatic of fashions, and again, I loved the first book so much, so I really wanted to jump into the second book right away. So yeah, I grabbed this guy as well. Alrighty guys, that is the book haul portion of this Come Book Shopping With Me in NYC vlog. Hopefully you enjoyed. I personally had a great day shopping at all of my favorite bookstores. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon with another video soon.